Hey, what's up guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. And today we're going to take on the Proving Grounds Day 3, which is going to be an Earth Commander boss. Now, Commander's events are one of those events where I don't generally have a lot of the ultimate forms, so instead I actually bring in my Fire Slayer deck, and this is probably one of the more powerful decks I have as a combination in all affinities, and so I'm going to bring this in here. Now, if you take a look at the counter skill, it does have Blind and Dodge as well as Gem Silence. And so the card that I brought in, which is one of the only Fire Gem Silence dispellers, is Fireflight Thoth. And this is actually a card that was available from last season's rewards. So if you participate in last season, this was actually a card that you would be able to get as a collection. So you can actually bring this card in for your team. And what's nice is it's also a commander card that gives you some commander bonus. So if you choose to bring in a Fire Slayer deck, this is definitely a card that you'll want to bring in because Gem Silence is going to completely block your team from this fight. So I already did a fight there, and I'm going to go ahead and reuse this team to kind of show you how I'd play this deck. Now, some of the thoughts that I have as well regarding this sort of setup here is, without an ultimate form, what other choices you could bring in? And I was thinking about using maybe perhaps an deck that uses all the legendary, the legend cards, which will be Ray. And I would probably do that in the next time when we have an Earth boss to attack, so that we could sort of see how much damage that actually deals. But right now what I wanted to show are some elements of this particular deck. And so I have the two ultimate forms, which is Despots of Despair as well as the Blitzkrieg Beast. So the Beast deck is the same thing as like what we call the Yokai deck, and that is the deck that actually provides a lot of heal. But this is not a 5 times bonus with the 3 key attack. So the heal isn't going to always give you a full revive, but it is going to be very helpful because of the increased recovery, also from your relic there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate all of our battle skills to start, to take advantage of the fact that we can, so that we can get the first big hit into it. And so one of our cards is always going to be stunned, and that is to be expected. But with this particular deck, I can actually, the biggest damage I can deal is from the very first hit here. And you can see I'm already at 1150. But the challenge is going to be getting over the next initial set of thresholds to get our damage even higher. So the question here is, when should you activate, and also what kind of order you should activate in. Now, with this particular deck, it's really just activate whenever you can. And in this case, it also matches with the passive skills. So in this case, even though my Blitzkrieg Beast is not available yet, I'm still going to choose to activate this, because what's going to happen is I expect that one of my cards to be stunned or rooted this next turn. And if you have so here's an actually example where the leader card now is actually stunned. So a couple of things will happen here. One, its second skill of a nuke will not go off, as you can see there. And if your leader is actually stunned, you also lose the damage bonus from the leadership. And so this is one thing that is important to note. And so try to avoid dealing big damage if you can, if your leader is the one that is actually stunned, just because you are going to have a decreased damage for that particular attack. Now, if there's no other choice, then you have to attack at the time. But this is just something to be aware of. So we're now at 1250, and you can see we're doing well health wise. And because of the team here that I brought in that takes advantage of the tremendous amount of heal, it actually is something that will be, helpful for me surviving longer fights. So in future fights, this is definitely a deck composition that I would recommend for this particular setup. All right, so let's keep going here. And I think what I want to do is I want to wait at least one more turn, because right now all of my cards are blinded, and I don't have the passive abilities triggered just yet. But we're starting to get to the point where multiple of my cards are now stunned. So I'm going to wait, and I was hoping for my Blitzkrieg to be available, but since it's not, I could still use my 2 copies of Rodash and also Despots of Despair plus Thoth. So Thoth is really helpful here. You can see that she'll always create at least 5 Power Gen 4s, Power Gen 2s, and then because I do have cards that can give me at least 2 or more power gen force there, it then doubles the number to 10. And so we're getting close to the 1300 mark. And I think the challenge is getting over the 1300 mark, which I was able to get in the previous fight. But at the point now where we have 2 or more cards getting stunned each turn, it's going to be difficult. And so I'm just going to go ahead and, this is probably going to be one of the best sort of setup at the, you have to take a look and see where you're going to maximize your power gems. And this is going to be one of them. But like I said earlier, this is a time where we're going to lose our leadership skill as well. And so that attack right there actually was 3 times less powerful than it could have been, but we're starting to run out of choice, really. And eventually, when the rage stack is really high, you can see now the damage is starting to add up. And now we're going to try to also look for opportunities to heal. So we're going to we're going to go ahead and do a heart gem match, and we're going to try to increase the multiplier. And you can see that the heal does go up as well because of the increased heal from the relic that comes from this particular deck. And so now what we're going to do is we can actually take advantage of this opportunity. Even though there's no passive abilities, we can still get a really good set of power gens in here. And so we have the leadership skill, and we also have a really good sort of board there. So we were able to get pretty good damage out there, but we're still far from our threshold. We were able to get also some of our additional nuke damage in there. And so we're at Rage stack 17 right now. This is actually without any scrolls or any gauntlets right now, so we're doing pretty well here. All right, so let's go ahead and keep going here. And so you can see here, because the damage is so high, you have to look for opportunities to heal. And if you do get a heal card, if you do get a heart gem match, another thing that you can try and do, I can't do it here, is also to do a power gem swap to increase the multiplier. So when you do a heart gem swap, the higher that you can actually get your multiplier up through gem matches, the more heal you're going to get from that. So what I'm going to do here is, I think this might be my last hit. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, I don't have any additional heal, so this should be the last hit for me. And there's the defeat. So I couldn't manage to get higher than 1300, but with this team setup, it actually, I think, was probably my best damage here. So you can see here the damage from this battle was listed here, and it is indeed the best damage so far. So, but I did get the score 1300. This is the best I've done so far in the Proving Ground so far. The other setup I was mentioning that I was thinking about is a team that consists of many of the legend cards. Would be Ray. I couldn't put all 5 of them simply because I need to deal with Gem Silence, in which case Thoth would be the card I'll continue to keep in there. But then if I were to do that, I might need to bring another card that would also generate Power Gem Force. So probably 3 Rays in there would be okay. The passive ability of creating Power Gems is also useful from that perspective. It will create power gem once every 4 turns. So you can see in here the passive ability, every 4 turns it will create 4 power gem once. While it's not as powerful as obviously the Deathblows of Despair, not everybody would have one, but a legend card is something that you can still develop over time. However, having said all that, I think this is one of the goals to that we can set as well, to try to go after the Master Collection card and the ultra rare card that can give you that sort of ultimate form to help you give you the advantage for this fight. So I'm at 435 coins at this point, having received the rewards for the last 3 days. I'm still going to wait. I would like to hold off on getting the crate here, as I mentioned in one of the previous streams. I think that holding off for at least the 10 times crate might be more worth it at this point. And so if you take a look at the rewards, you're going to get some of the gauntlets, but I think you're only just going to get you might get just the 1 or 2 if you use a single crate, and that may not quite be enough. And so what I like to try and do is open up at least 10 of those and get a bunch of gauntlets. And my expectation is that we're probably going to start with some 4-star gauntlets. If you're lucky, you might get a 6-star immediately. The 6-star gauntlet, while it's not going to actually remove the stun effect, it's going to give you additional team damage. So that is going to help you get that get that additional damage in, and then hopefully we'll be able to form the actual affinity based gauntlet there at some point. So that's all for today's episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Reminder again, there is still a chance for you to win one of the affinity gauntlets if you fill out your information on the post in my community tab. Again, in order to access my community tab, you will need to be subscribed to the channel. So thanks a lot for watching. I will see you next time. Take care.